Happy Thursday, everybody. Hi. How is everybody doing out there today? You guys doing good? Ever been questioned about your job repeatedly to the point you're about ready to break someone's neck?
Andy's a little on edge on this nice Thursday.
Well, it is set the edge.
It is set the edge, and
It
someone
is.
is highly setting the edge with you or something, or some people in general.
I love, and the sad thing is, I love everybody except for, sometimes Steelers fans. Knowing people that talk bad about Cleveland. Colin Cowherd.
That dude, I guess it's becoming a thing for him, right? Like it's a shtick right now, so he's just capitalizing it. But he's becoming very Skip Bayless-ish for me. I can't handle it. Soon enough, he's going to be, taking selfies and sticking his leg up, with the shoe, pointing at the shoe, just trying to be some lame, old man. But he's driving me crazy, and it's not even. He did this ranking, Andy. If you saw this, who's better than Baker, and he actually said that Carson Wentz is above Baker, and now that's just now you're just saying things to just fucking say it, which is just, and it's hard not to try and give that credit or any type of attention. I shouldn't say credit, attention, and it's really, really difficult. But he knows what the fuck he's doing, and it is so frustrating. I mean, Carson Wentz, and he really tried to make a case over it. What year is this?
So welcome to Set the Edge. I agree with Holly Wetzel. I don't even have anything to follow up with. She said everything beautifully. It's fucking stupid. There's nothing even to say. They booed him out of Philadelphia, and yet he picked him. The edge today.
It's just kind of disrespect. It's honestly pretty disrespectful to even whether or not he's just trying to create drama just to create it, which is what he's obviously doing. It is pretty disrespectful. I don't know. Maybe beyond that, maybe they got a funny relationship that we just don't know about, and it's whatever. But I don't know.
Yep, I agree. Holly Wetzel's there. I mean, Billman here. I agree with everything Holly said. We're going to talk about free agency today. Who's everybody's favorite free agent? Because I got to admit, there's been a big deck shuffle of what I thought was going to happen, and it kind of got today. To the point where I'm like, yeah, I thought I had a vibe for this, but anymore now, it's hard to get a vibe. So we'll go through that today. We'll talk about how I really want Daniel Johnson to play center field for the Indians. We'll talk about our favorite moments from The Crown and Meghan Markle at the end. That'll be fun. I thought that was a very interesting interview. Very well done, actually. Very, very well done. I like the setting. I like the scenes. I thought everything was done. So we'll talk about that. In March Madness, because I love March Madness. But first, the Brownies. Everybody got excited about numbers. I know I did. There's nothing more thrilling than a headline saying the Browns have $24 million at cap room. It's like, oh, cool. Not exciting. But it is exciting.
It is, but there's a lot already they got to reserve, though, right? I mean.
Yes.
So.
A lot to reserve. I just think, okay, here we go. This period to me is weird because it's all about anticipation for the draft is one thing because there's projections. I think this year for free agency, there are some projections, but because the cap has come down because of the pandemic, it's a harder read. I thought I had a read on this 2 or 3 days ago. I have to be honest with you, Holly. I think I have some idea, but I don't know. Like last year, I think we all felt confident about Jack Conklin. Pretty felt good about Case Keenum. Had some inkling, I think these things are going to happen. This year, it's like, it's funny. I turn on one station, I think we should get a safety or cornerback. You read one blog, boy, I really like defensive end. I think they should go after Shaq Barrett, another guy. Hey, I think they should really, really focus on maybe getting a wide receiver like Perryman. It's like, wow, these are all wild opinions. There's no consensus this year. Mm-hmm. And there's one guy I was reading today on Cleveland.com. He really believes in the Viking safety. It's just hard for me. I don't know how you feel. I thought I had a read on this a week ago. I really thought I had a read on this a few days ago. I know I have a basic idea about defense, but man, this stuff is, again, it's like a duck shuffle. It just feels like everything got shuffled. once his numbers came out.
I mean, I think we're in a really good spot in the sense of that we do have, it could really go a lot of different ways here. We have a lot of options. We're just in a great position overall. We have money. We have a lot of really great options out there to go after. And I think what they're probably going to do, I don't know, I mean, is throw out a couple and see where they kind of land. I mean, I think they probably have running their analytics over there, trying to figure out who fits the best and then kind of go from there. I mean, I've always thought, though, in what you and I talked about, I think before, I think it was on here. I don't think I read it or just imagined it, but we talked about just run together now. I'm like, maybe I just woke up in the middle of the night and thought about it. But the whole Baker, do you sign Baker? Do you not? And I know they're going to extend him, right? I mean, that's came out today. And Mary Kay was on local radio here talking about it. But they got to set that tone. And I really believe that. So I think we're in a really good position just overall in the sense of we have a lot of options. And I think another thing we got to remember too is that I feel like, I know I'm like this, I'm a little nervous of getting rid of some of these guys, but we have a lot. There's 17 are unrestricted free agents. Yeah. A lot. So I think that there's some hesitation because of how magical this past year was to get rid of some of these guys and bring pieces back in. But we have to remember, next year is not going to be like last year. There's going to be a lot of different things changing. A lot of different teams are going to have different lineups. I mean, it's a whole new game next season. So we're going to have to adjust, and we still have holes we need to fill. And so as much as some of these guys I really want to keep, I know that we can't, and I'm finally starting to just accept that.
I think the elephant in the room, before I do that, which is Hollywood Higgins. Let's go backwards to Mayfield.
Okay.
I think Mayfield is going to be extended, redone. I think that whole contract thing is going to happen. I really do. I think and I mentioned this to Jared, and I'll say it here. All these different things are big things that need to happen. Defensive additions, you need to add some things, especially in the defensive end rusher. Definitely need a cornerback, safety help. We all agree. Linebacker help. All those things are big. We need to worry about what's going to happen with Higgins, which we're going to get to next, and Nick Chubb after this year. All that stuff's important. It all starts and ends out with 6. Baker Mayfield coming back and getting a long-term contract is big because he has earned it. And I know there's still people out there who will compare on charts, and people I know at times you felt that maybe this way. I think it's just when you win a playoff game like the way he did and the way he improved throughout the season, if he's not the guy, we're kind of fucked. So we might as well just buckle up, set the tone, get ready, and just hang on fucking tight. Because I think this is a guy. I think he's going to do well. I think he's earned the right to get a restructured contract similar to Dak Prescott. And he's going to get that kind of money. And if he waits, I think this, Holly, I think if he continues to win, he's going to get more money.
Oh yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. It honestly probably would be in his best interest to wait, because he would get a big payday, especially he has a big year. He has a Pro Bowl year. I mean, he could really make that money. But rightfully so.
Yes.
There's just a lot surrounding whether or not he is the franchise. But I think, I like to think about in the sense too, what are our other options, right? Right now, what are our other options? Sure, there was a lot of, talk about maybe trading Baker. Oh my God, but it's not going to happen. And at the end of the day, it's just every fucking year, it's just something different. New regime, new coach, new management, like new quarterback. It's just, we finally seem to have some type of good rhythm here, a good base. So let's just build on it. I think Baker can get better. I believe in him. I really do. He stepped up. I think that there's a chemistry there with Stefanski. And I think the best part now is if we're going to sign him up, then do it and fit those pieces around him. He is the most important piece. The quarterback just is.
He is. He's everything.
Give him that confidence, because if you want to pay that and pay him, and look, at the end of the day, if he ends up becoming a Carson Wentz situation, well, then that's what we end up having to deal with. But we're not giving anything up right now to not sign him. And I've been thinking about this a lot, apparently, because before I was like, no, I don't know if we should pay him. I don't know if he's the guy. I don't know if he's the guy. And we all don't know if he's the guy, but that's the whole point. We don't know, but we know what we've seen.
You got to roll the dice. You got to roll the dice. You got to roll the dice. He's our guy. And by the way, I think you're rolling dice with a lot of chips on the table. I think he's our guy. I think he's going to do very well here. For a guy, I'll say it again, at the halftime of the Bengals game on the road, it was looking really fucking bleak. It was looking bad. And he turned that whole thing around and off he went. And he deserves this. He's earned this. And he's won in big spots. The Tennessee win was the game I was like, hold on tight. I think he's figured this out. And from there, it really grew. He powered through those games in those bad situations in the weather in Cleveland. He did a great job. He gutted out that ugly fucking win in Jacksonville. And then from there, he really took off. Even in the losses, the Jets game aside, that was just a mess. In the Steelers game, hey, survive in advance. But they just went hard. And I really do believe this. I think Baker's going to get much better next year. And remember, this team dealt with every fucking injury and weird shit every week. There was never a normal week, it felt like.
Right.
Without like a COVID breakdown or, it's going to be, we're playing in Cleveland, but it's going to be blowing wind sideways, 50 miles per hour. I mean, it was just insane. Every week just had something.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it will definitely set the tone. I think he also obviously grew very much, matured very much over this past year. And again, like you said, he did overcome a lot of obstacles. But do I think he's worth Dak Prescott money right now? I don't know. I mean, that's a good, all right, well, now it's going to make
I do.
You do. I don't know. I don't think so. Not yet.
I knew you were going to say that. That's okay. I do.
But I think that it would be smart for him. If I'm Baker, I'm waiting another year and I'm going to do what I can this year to blow shit out of the water. And then on top of that, get fucking paid. That's what I would do if I was Baker Mayfield. Take my advice, Baker, whatever you decide to do. But
there's a whole element to what Holly's saying, which is true, which is the Trevor Bauer theory. Hold out as much as you can to get as much money as possible and cash in. That is something that is in play here. If he wants to do that, football is a violent game. Anything can change in a moment. But if you're willing to roll the dice, Holly's right, because you're going to get an extra $5 million if you play that way. So instead of getting maybe $40 million a year, maybe get 45, maybe get 44, because that's what you're talking about. It's that big a difference.
Oh yeah, but if I'm the Browns, I'm trying to sign him
up. Lock him up.
So I see both sides of what they're trying to do, but I think, man, you gotta wonder Baker's confidence level in himself. Like, you really got to think about it, because I'm like, would I have that confidence in myself? I don't know. Probably not, because I barely have confidence in myself to like make it out the door on time some places, on a daily basis. But I mean, he really does. And if there's anyone, though, when I think about that, of who he bets on himself all the time. And so if I'm him, then I'm betting on myself, and I'm going to take this another year and really, continue to just improve and grow.
Yeah, I think, I just think, again, you kind of alluded to it. I'll hit it again. And we can hammer it probably over and over again. Mayfield, there's always a little tinge of everything. I just have saw such great improvement. To not go forward with him at this point, you're really going much more backward. Just go forward. Believe in him. I do. I think he's our guy. It is time to go forward. As Kevin Atkins says, good to have you in the room tonight. Glad we have competent people making those decisions now. Kevin, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Big deal. So now we'll go for it, Hollis.
Well, I was going to say, now maybe we're on the same page. Let's talk Higgins.
Okay, Higgins. I'll lead. What it comes down to, because I think it's actually simplicity. I think there's 3 or 4 ways to look at this. I want Higgins to come back. I do. So I'm part of the team of, I'm going to make this work. I'm an economist. I will make things work. If you want to keep OBJ, which I do, okay, You have to make a cut somewhere. I would cut Njoku. I would bring back Higgins because he's probably similar money, if not a little less. And then I'd bring on Rashard Perriman. I would add a blocking tight end as your third tight end who catches a little bit because you did draft a tight end. You don't need 3 tight ends like this. I don't like having you got Hooper, you got Bryant, the rookie, he's gonna be a second-year player now, and you got Njoku.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm being honest and looking at that position, it's like saying what I saw, Hooper and Bryant are going to start playing more anyways at the beginning.
Yeah.
So could we be realistic and say, you know what, I think Higgins has much more value. So I would cut Njoku and keep Higgins. Here's my other one I would do. Yeah, like, no, we got to keep 3 tight ends. I would cut OBJ and then keep Higgins and keep Perriman and sign Perriman back.
They're not going to cut OBJ, though.
I know. That's what I'm saying. It's ridiculous.
I mean, the money, besides the obvious, the money, it's just, you can't.
I know.
You're going to trade him.
I know. Well,
what'd you trade him for?
I don't know. Well,
right?
Well, that's the thing. It's like, I think that's where the Browns are at. If you really want three better than average tight ends, then you keep Njoku. From what I've experienced.
Want to be here, though?
What?
Does Njoku even want to be here still anymore? I mean, I know there's been a lot of.
Well, Kevin Atkins said it, and you're alluding to it. Yeah, I mean, trade Njoku, not cut. I would say this, Kevin Atkins. He doesn't want to be here. Trade him, cut him. I just think it's time to move on. I would rather have Hollywood's energy and Hollywood's personality with Baker gelling than Njoku. And Njoku might have a good career. I don't know. But I want Hollywood Higgins here. I don't want him leaving.
Yeah, no, I want him too. And I think, I hope they'll pay him. God, I was looking at what he was making last year. He made $900,000 a year.
Yeah, that's bad.
Like, I was looking at some of these salaries. I'm like, good God. I mean, it's really not that much.
I just think the Browns have got to really sit and take a breath of like, you're basically saying you're keeping Njoku. I know there's a Hodge comparison. I'm not going to go there so much because I don't know. I just think Hodge is going to make $2 or $3 million and whatever. And I think the difference here is Hollywood Higgins seems like it's worth 4 or 5 million. Njoku's 6. Why can't we just cut Njoku or trade him, whatever, and just keep Higgins?
Well, they're going to have to do some restructuring for sure around in even existing contracts too, to kind of balance all that out. And some of that, when you get into the weeds with that stuff, I start to get like, whoa. Because
I do too. I do too this year because the salary cap, this is where it fluctuates. It's going to go way down then way back up. This is a 1-year temporary thing. The salary cap next year is going way up. So you're going to see that's why today it's like Kansas City cutting Schwartz, cutting Fisher on their offensive line. It's like, wow. That's what because they have to lose weight.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, the Browns might have some of those cuts too tomorrow. I think it's going to be, I don't know why. I get the feeling there's going to be something surprising tomorrow.
Oh, yeah? You think? Friday's going to be the day?
Saturday, Sunday. Well, I'm driving through countrysides. Something's going to happen. Bloop, going to drop. Drop like it's hot. There's going to be something. I just seeing what I'm already reading and hearing. The Browns are going to have to, like, they're talking about restructuring contracts. Some of that will happen. I just think at some point, you got to do some of it just because of what you're trying to do. Mm-hmm. Here's the bigger point. On the field, Hollywood Higgins makes a difference on this team, in this locker room, and certainly with number 6. Figure it out. Don't be stupid.
Well, that's where that's what I go back to. I think that the number one thing that you can't put a price tag on is chemistry.
Yes.
So if it's there, you got to really try to figure out how to make it work. OBJ, it's such a big question mark of what they should do, what we think they may do, what we assume they're going to do. And I saw his workout videos that he's posting. I mean, who's this now? Good. I want those days, the old OBJ days, OBJ.
Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, look,
but we don't, again, that's another taking another gamble of will he be who he was? But at the same time, when he was here, he was playing a very individual game, like, I think a lot of guys were. There was no real structure. Then we get structure. We see some, light at the end of the tunnel. But I think it's going to really be a sit down with him on if this is where he wants to be, because he's going to have to take a step back on OBJ number one, right? I mean, it's going to have to be at that team type of mentality. He's going to have to adhere to that. And get on board fully.
Oh, that's true. I get the feeling that's going to happen more than what I just believe in Stefanski. I think he'll rein him in. Rein him in is not the right term. I think he will help him understand what he needs to do, to what you're alluding to, meaning you got to be more of a team player. The thing is that excites me about someone like OBJ is he has those Dallas games, but there's also moments too where he just checks out. We've all seen it.
Well, it's that diva mentality, and we can't have that. That's my point. Like, look, you can't be doing that. So if this is where you want to be, then commit, right? I mean, then let's do this. But I don't want to have one of those years where he's, we're talking about what shoes he's wearing and everything else. Like, I don't care, or what. It's just. Right? Didn't he wear some crazy shoes, or didn't he
there was so many things. I mean,
that's the thing. It's like, that's what he's known for. I don't want him to be known for that. When I think of like Nick Chubb, you know what he's known for?
Touchdowns.
Kicking ass on that field.
I love Nick Chubb.
And doing his damn job. That's what
please right? resign him. Please resign him.
I mean, that's the type of,
I
would think, reputation that you want. Not this. And you would, that's what I'm hoping. Let's put it that way. That I'm hoping that he does have that humbling. All right, that's fine. Like, I will,
It's going to be for people out there who don't think there's going to be all this excitement. We're all excited about the Browns. That's why we're leading off with it. There is an element of how's that going to work, and I think it's natural. I'm interested to see how it works with OBJ next year. I think it's very natural. I think it's very fair. How's it going to work?
Yeah, I think that's what's so hard, because we know the talent. The talent is unbelievable. It's always that.
The Dallas game was just with that play he made to win. Oh, it was just wow.
Right, but that's we need. And I don't look. Would I love to have a wow moment game play every game from him and from other players, of course. But I'd rather also though have. That's not going to happen, right? So consistency is next, and we need him to be consistent across the board. That's all we've wanted from the beginning, from the Browns in general, was just consistently good football team. That's all.
We're getting there.
Consistently competitive. Yeah, we're getting there. So
you're definitely getting there. I threw my cap. That's how consistently consistent I want the Browns to be this year. But
did you just do like one of those?
I did. I tried to spin the cap and just fucked it all up. Anyways,
I got one of these things.
I know, it's very neat and organized. You can see, like, I'm proud. I've transformed Holly into becoming a water person, smart water.
Oh, did you?
I'm taking credit for it. I don't care. By the way, set the edge to be happy sponsor.
Balance. This is balance, people. Okay.
Mine's at some tabletop in Cleveland tomorrow. Westlake, Ohio, I believe. Yeah.
Andy and I are getting together tomorrow evening.
Yes. See us there.
Person. It's very exciting.
The chair will have one of those like Homer Simpson humps by the night.
Andy's like, I just want to watch basketball.
I felt so bad. Holly and I
fine. I will leave you to it.
I know. I feel so bad. I love hanging out with Holly, and that came off so bad.
No, it was just when you're like, I just want to watch basketball, and I'm like, by all means,
I love March Madness. I just want
away and let you.
No, that didn't come off right. I love March Madness. March is madness, by the way, with work too. But anyways, I love March Madness.
How about Duke not making the tournament?
I hope Duke's doing okay. I thought they had a wild season, and I felt bad the team got COVID, and I think they've had a wild year.
I think the COVID crap, right? That was going to happen to somebody, and of course it happens to Duke.
I just think Duke. I think they'll be fine. Kentucky, they'll be fine, but those are things now to watch. And what I mean by that, it's like Kentucky is not going to the tournament. Duke, because of health, and you know what? Even if they would have won, they were going to have a hard time making the tournament. It's interesting that there's no Duke or Kentucky in the tournament.
Yeah, it's weird. But you know who also was in the tournament, Andy?
Who?
Cleveland State.
The Vikings. I love that coach. I love that coach.
Who is that? I just think it's cool. Look, I haven't watched any Cleveland State basketball this year.
They're good.
Doesn't matter. I'm still here for it.
I'm taking them in my first round, and I'm not just bullshitting. This is not like a homer pick. I love that coach. In fact, they need to lock him up because you're going to get knocked on the door by that guy can coach. Mm-hmm. That was a organized – because I thought Oakland played well in that championship game. I watched some of it. I was like, wow, Oakland's really playing well. And Cleveland State, through coaching and through ability and through what they wanted to do, just took it away in that situation. Mm-hmm. That coach, he is wonderful. I wish I knew his name off the top of my head. I'm forgetting at the moment. He's gonna get sucked into one of these bigger schools.
Yeah, and it's sad too that of all years that nobody can go and watch them play. Right? I mean,
I
it's
know.
like
I know
the irony of the Cleveland sports this past year of playing well. You know, some of us, and us not being able to watch. Crazy person.
Hey, we have an NFL draft coming to town. And as of tonight, there's still no official plans for it. What
is up with that?
That is so strange. They don't even know the commissioner's coming. I've done this a long time. Holly has too. If you're doing a big event and you're less than 50 days out, when do you think you know if the main event guy is going to be there yet? That is weird.
Yeah, I don't know. I wonder if he thinks he should come or not. I mean, that's probably he's going to get shit if he does. He's going to get shit if he doesn't. I mean, there's no right or wrong with that.
Look, okay, let's go down this road. I think Cleveland needs to get it in 23 and 24 or whatever it is, because this year it just feels like it's another virtual year. And I feel like they're forcing something where it's like it's quite not there yet. So let's just do one more year of this virtual stuff. Cleveland will get it in 2024, 2025, whatever, and let's do it that. It just feels so rushed and forced.
Well, yeah, and I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago. The state of downtown Cleveland is, while once much more booming during the LeBron era and beyond, has taken such a major hit that so many places are closed downtown. There was a lot of damage from the protests and stuff that a lot of restaurants and buildings didn't even open back up. I mean, it's not what you would think it should be. I mean, at all. So I don't even know who's going to be open. I mean, they have to probably be working with these bars and restaurants individually, at least on that front of specifically opening for this, chain of days. Like, that's the only thing I can think of, because I know we need the money. I want the money for our economy. But I'm with you in the sense of let's do this virtual one more year, because I just don't, while I know things are on the up and up, and there's what I guess Biden said today, the vaccine's going to be out for all adults by May 1st. That's and normalcy is coming back by July 1st. I mean, those are all great things, but we're still not hitting that. I mean, it's next month.
I know. Holly, you cannot rush an event like this, and they're rushing this event. And it's not right. It's not fair, because this is an economic event. I'm going to talk pure dollars and cents. It's not fair. It's just not fair. Like, you're not going to maximize the dollars. You're not going to maximize the experience for fans. Can you imagine going to something like that and you watch Roger Goodell on a TV screen from the Rock Hall?
No. And also, Andy,
it's weird.
It's Cleveland in April. Like, sure, it could be 80 and it could also snow.
Yeah.
Like, we don't know what it's going to be like. I mean, chances are it's probably going to be like 50-ish and like probably rainy, because it's the spring and it's Cleveland. Like, that's, but the weather alone is just going to it'd be different if it was like June, July, right?
Yeah.
At least then it'd be warm, people be outside, be different. And I'm from everything I've heard that a lot of the events are going to be outside. Because of everything, but for them to not come out with anything yet, any real event game plan, schedule, something,
Nothing.
Where people can try to get tickets to, so at least they have people. I mean, I don't know. It's weird. It's very weird.
To not be able to confirm a commissioner's coming, I don't know. It's a lot. I just feel like it's being forced. I know it's being forced, actually. I know it is. And I don't understand why they would rush it. Anyways, do you want... Let's go down this road. We were going to do free agency today. Hold on. I messed my place now. So I got so excited about talking about the draft. Then we're going to do that. Who do you want in these people? Von Miller? You want to trade for him? I do. I like Von Miller a lot.
Yeah. I'm open, but I'm waiting for my other options.
Okay. She's a good shopper. Carl Lawson from the Bengals.
Mm-hmm. Probably Vaughn, though.
I agree. So far, we're picking the same outfit. Reddick from Arizona, who had a good year last year.
What's he getting paid right now? Do we know?
He's he's a UFA. I think let me actually, you know what? Someone had a listing. Let's say 10 to 12. I think that's a fair estimate. 10 to 12 million. Your boy, Trey Hendrickson?
Well, you know who I want him.
I know. I'm ready to go all in on Shaq Barrett or Von Miller. I want the kid out of Tampa Bay who sacks quarterbacks, who's still out there and is not being linked to anybody yet.
Do you think Shaq, though, is an actual viable option?
I don't know what the Browns are thinking on that front, obviously. I do think it's a viable option.
Today, right? That Browns were interested.
I just think it's a viable option, and here's why. If you're going to really do this, and you have to trade for Von Miller, which might make you feel, a little weird because you're giving up things to get him, okay. Carl Lawson, okay. Like Bud Dupree, I mean, he's good. These guys are coming off injuries. Like Carl Lawson wasn't injured last year, but he's got injury history. Trey Hendrickson, I like Trey. I do. I like Trey. Reddick, I like Reddick. I do. I love Von Miller and I love Shaq Barrett. So why don't I get the Gucci handbag?
But can we? I mean, are they going to give? Are they going to give them up? I don't.
No, gotta get that credit card out. I just think it's time for the Browns to start doing a little bit of that shopping.
Well, no, because we're in a buyer's market right now. We have options.
That's my point. Because
like in the Bachelor of the NFL right now, Browns are with us.
I like that. I like that a lot. I was expecting that. That was good. Anthony Harris, does that excite anybody? I mean, that was something I read today. Anthony Harris, anybody? Safety? I mean, I want Von Miller. I want Shaq Barrett.
Yeah, I know.
Anthony Harris, I mean, nice player, good player, but
we need a flashy. We need a flashy, splashy.
Yeah.
Name. We need someone. Yeah. That's what we need.
Yeah. Is anybody getting excited about BJ Goodson coming back? It's like,
Whoop-de-doo, Basil.
I know. That's, again, you're hitting it. It's like Anthony Harris. I mean, okay. All right.
Yeah, I mean,
can I get that?
Those guys, I'm all about trusting in.
Hey, look,
Andrew Berry, right? I mean, I trust with those smaller stuff, but I think we need a splash. We got some dough.
Some dough, right? Me. I think it's time for the Browns to just do things to go for the home run. If you think Shaq Barrett's a home run, do it. Grab a stick and fucking swing.
I want to win now.
I want to win now too, Ollie, because the next team we're going to talk about is going through a major reshuffle. And then there's the Cavs. So it's Cleveland State and the Browns.
The team formerly known as?
The Indians.
That's right.
So free agency is on Monday. Mm-hmm. I'll be on Instagram for the Browns to talk about that. I'm sure Holly and Jared will join me at some point if they can. That'd be fun. So free agency Monday. I do think the Browns will. I think the last note on the Browns, let's get to the Indians. I am surprised at the deck shuffle of the options, to your point. I thought it was going to be more streamlined. We could get a vibe like Jack Conklin, and I already mentioned that, but there's no real, I think he's coming here. I think
they're keeping it quiet, and that's
are.
Look,
I like that. I like that.
Same. I mean, and they know what to leak when they want. So let's just wait.
Yes.
Everyone's working past 5:00. Okay, in the Browns office these days. No one's leaving before 5.
No bankers hours. No bankers hours there.
Mm-mm.
I hear you, Indians, by the way. Hey, Damien, howdy. Good to have Damien in the room from Facebook. Love you, Damien. Indians.
Yep.
Dolan sent a team note out. I've worked in corporations like ESPN, Holly's for Fox News. When things come out for sexual harassment or things that go on inappropriately in an office, which could deem many things, not just sexual harassment, for many other things, there's usually a statement that comes out from the team president or the president or CEO. That's basically what this Dolan email was. Everybody can read it. I wouldn't really, I mean this, I don't think it was bad or good. It was neutral. And what I mean by that, it's like, that's a typical note from a CEO. It was very down the line. It was his PR plan, lawyer's plan. It was very, very smart and tightened email. I've seen these emails in the past. I'm sure Holly has too. A couple of the things that Dolan said, though, that, I did go outside the lines, but I thought were, fair and right. This is deeply troubling to me. Speaking about the Callaway situation, it is clear that we have not done enough to build the inclusive culture we strive to create. That was in part of this email he sent to the team. What I take out of this, Holly, and I know you and I have talked about this story, these stories don't go away quickly. The story is certainly not going away quickly. For all we do, we all, and as Indians fans, have cheered for Francona over the years. I think Francona I think he's really taken this hard as expected. I think he's aged a lot in the last couple of weeks. I think I don't know. I just think I see a team that has some things on the field to go through, which we'll get to, but Holly, this is just looming. It's just.
Oh yeah. Look, it's
in the air.
A dark cloud that's just going to be hanging over them the entire season. And look, these investigations, when they say the MLB is investigating, it takes time. It takes months. They're going through a lot of probably information, trying to pin down what happened. So it's hard because it's like drop these big bombshells and then you don't hear anything for a while.
No, it's true.
And that's we're kind of in that gray area right now. We're kind of like in the eye of the storm, waiting for it to kind of continue through, because this isn't the end. This is the beginning, and things are going to continue to roll out. There's been a lot of disturbing pieces to it. I mean, Terry's son alone coming out and saying those things. How do you not feel like there's, merit there? Where there's smoke, there's fire. And I just, with Dolan too, that was a very, like you said, neutral, normal
CEO, president.
But I read a opinion piece on Cleveland.com today. The title was like, where is Paul Dolan?
Mm-hmm.
And I know that I've said this before, Andy, and I say this to you a lot, but it's really mind-boggling to me that he is just nowhere to be found in all of this, and hasn't been at all with all the shit that the Indians have been dealing with this year, with all the major changes that they're going through. This guy is just, where is he? What's going on? And if I'm working for them, I'm like, I want my leader to be up front and center, and he's letting guys like Antonetti and beyond kind of handle a lot of that, which he needs to step in and own the situation. An email to your staff isn't going to do it. He needs to say something publicly. He needs to say that publicly of, look, this is not okay, and I'm also looking into it. What's his face did that? Mark Cuban.
Oh, right? Cuban.
Right in front of it.
Yeah. Cuban.
And I'm on the fence about him, about a couple different things, just of how he is. But that was like, wait a second. No, you got to get ahead of it. And he has to say something, and it's already too late.
I just think, to what Holly's saying, is this: Dolan right now is not saying much because he's lawyered up and because there's a whole situation that's going on with MLB.
Yeah, Andy, the lawyer thing, it's just, okay, I get it, but you can make a blank statement.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm just explaining what I'm seeing here, because the abnormal is what Cuban did last year, or whenever that was, 2 years ago, when he had to speak up when there's a lot of shit, but actually pretty similar to what's going on with the Indians, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. I think Dolan right now is taking advice from his camp. And I think because of that, he's not saying much. That is not atypical.
But Andy, not one thing from the beginning.
I know.
Not even during the name change stuff. Not even.
Well, he said something in the name change stuff. They did a press conference. It was a very bizarre
press conference for that.
They did a PR release.
PR release. Press conference though, right?
No, well, I thought maybe I'm misremembering. They did a PR release. I know that they definitely did a PR release. Here's the thing I will say. I love the Indians. They have had a messy, hard time with PR and releasing information in the past 2 or 3 years. It's not been clean. Whether it's Lindor in an award show making comments, whether it's different things that have been going on with different alleys, with team name stuff, I think it's been clunky. This has been.
Well, you just want them to. All I'm asking, of course, I get angry and frustrated because I love the Indians. I want to see them succeed. I love a lot of people that work over there that work really hard and love what they do. So I just want them to kind of own some of what they got going on. That they got to own it, and that's on a lot of different levels for a lot of different things. The shying away and the ooh and putting out like this email. It just there are times where you can take a bigger step forward, a much bigger step forward, and they haven't done it on a lot of different fronts.
The one thing I agreed with what Dolan said in that email was actions are bigger than words, and that's where I'm at. Actually, I want to see this get changed. I guess that's maybe why I'm not so into. Like, I get what you're saying, and I get why other people are not opinion piece. I do. I get it. I'm not there right now. What I'm more like is like, well, what's going to happen? How's this going to get fixed? And where do we go from here? That's more where I'm at. Because I guess I'm more in that plane right now. I want to see actions. I want to see change. I want to feel good.
But again, before you even do that, you have to acknowledge it.
No, you're right. By the way,
publicly acknowledged.
Fair.
A lot. He could put out what he put out to the staff. I think he could put out to.
Again, it's your typical flyer. It's in that standard CEO code book where it's like, just change the names, change people, and just you send it.
Right.
That's what it was.
That's my point. He still could have put it out publicly. And at least it would have given people something to kind of linger on to. Well, at least he finally said something. And I think it's frustrating because it's become a pattern to an extent. And sometimes it's just interesting. The Indians have like this mystery behind them. I feel like
I do agree.
Isn't it this just weird like mirage of like you think things just seem so wonderful, but you don't really know kind of what's going on. But like they're great. Look as far as what's going on with Antonetti and what he knew, what he didn't know. Playing devil's advocate in the sense of maybe he didn't really know. He's a great.
Look, Mickey Callaway caused all this crap. Mickey Callaway is a big reason why we're here. All that to be said, there was a lot of things that have not gone well in that organization that have to be cleaned out. And it's good to get this out there and get this toilet flush to move forward. There's a lot of things and a lot of people in this organization who are going to get a lot of painful situations. It's probably going on right now. There's a lot of tough discussions and a lot of tough things that are going on. And it's tough and it's hard and it's grinding. But they need to do it. It's going to make them better. It's going to make the culture better. And it's going to be painful. I hate saying this. There's probably going to be some job losses. And there's probably going to be some things that are going to go on because of this. And it's sadly needed to get this cleaned out like a wound and move forward. It has to. Has to. Hard flush. Has to. And I know the Damien's comment, I think Terry's time in Cleveland's coming to an end and then soon. Here's what I'd say to Damien's point. I think Antonetti and Chernoff, just guessing, I think they'll be back and whatever. Francona's interesting. And I don't know where that's going right now. I don't know. And I'll say this: he just doesn't look good, if I'm being honest.
Well, no, I mean, I think there's again, where there's smoke, there's fire, and I don't think that Mickey Callaway was the only one that knew what Mickey Callaway was doing. Yep. And it goes beyond him, and time will tell. But yeah, I think this is just the beginning. And it's just been the Indians have just had a shit year. on just a lot of bad PR, a lot of questionable bad decisions, and the end is not in sight, and it just sucks. And I think that like I said, when this stuff happens, I think you just want an acknowledgement from the top. I think it's just so important from a morale and that type of structure, to have that type of someone that you believe in at the top that's going to, that's what you do when you're a leader of a company like that. You make these decisions and you come out and you stand by them, or you admit your faults, and I don't think anyone's looking to burn anybody on the stake here, is in the sense of Paul Dolan. I just think we're really trying to be realistic about the situation, and it just feels like we're trying to get them to be like, hello, this is happening. And it's like, it's like kind of happening. Let's just wait and see if it's definitely happening. And it's like, no, it's happening. It's just, they're really good at kind of just letting that kind of simmer, breadcrumbing. They're breadcrumbing us, Andy. Do you know what that means?
I do.
Have you heard that term before in dating? I learned this recently.
Okay, I'm actually now curious. What does it mean in dating?
Breadcrumbing. This is interesting. I learned this recently. This is the cool thing the kids, the cool thing say. The cool thing the kids say.
I want to be cool so badly, Holly. Please enlighten me. I'm dying to know.
Breadcrumbing now is like when like someone's like kind of not leading you on, but like you're dating and you're talking and you don't hear from them for a couple days and you're like, oh, I don't know if they like me. And then they like kind of shoot you a text to kind of just lock you back in. And then they disappear again for a couple days. And then they send you another message and like, well, do they really like me? And then you're like, no. And they're just leaving you.
Oh, yeah.
Little
teasing. I call playing games. Yeah, breadcrumbing.
So breadcrumbing. They're just keeping you around, and they don't want to, they're not going to cut you off.
Here's what I'll go to with all this. It is coming. I think there's a lot of transitioning from team name to organizational things. There's a lot of things that are transitioning from the Indians. On the field, there's no Francisco Lindor anymore. There's no Carlos Santana. There's no Carrasco. There's no more Brad Hand. So there's a lot of changes. And the Indians have a huge opportunity to get all these things right and feel very good going into the future. This transition's big for this organization, and they know that. They know that. But this is a big transition period. More ways than one.
Oh, it's gutting and it's reinventing, and they should be honestly embracing it all.
They really. Oh, I agree with you about that. Yeah.
Taking it and really running with it and being like, this is new and improved. Your Cleveland insert name here.
Yeah, there's a lot that's going to be happening, and I'll go to this too. I think the timing, I don't want a baseball strike. No one does. No, those things stink. And lockout, whatever term you want to use. It's looming. There's one looming. They are not close on a deal between the union and the players. And the union players, that's the same thing. Players and the owners, Jesus, need some coffee. And they're having a lot of time. Damien with a clever name on Facebook. But all that to be said, I think right now, what's going on in baseball, there's a strike looming, and the Indians and a lot of other players and a lot of teams and stuff got to be looking for that too, because there's a transition going on here, but I think there's a bigger transition needs to go on throughout baseball. We talked about what's going on, the sexual harassment suits and people needing to speak up, which I'm a huge believer in. When you ever see a situation, it could be anything, like from people stealing stuff at work illegally to anything. You should say it. I hate to sound like a dad, but it's true. Just say it. Get it out there as quickly as you can so that way you can move forward. Biggest thing, too, with all these things, this is a chance for this league when it comes to finances and stuff. They got to get this right. There's a huge disparity right now, and we are clearly on the other end with Tampa Bay and Pittsburgh and Kansas City of who makes money and who doesn't because of TV contracts. And because of that, in my opinion, you have a huge disparity between money and teams. The players' union, which I actually support more often, I don't support in this. They need to do a salary cap or some sort of restructuring of salaries and restructuring of revenue. They have to. And if it takes a lockout to do it, then it takes a lockout to do it. And there's a lot of other issues here going on. There's no trust between the players and the owners. So that's a bigger thing too.
Yeah.
But Holly, I just want to allude to it because that's coming.
Yeah.
And I think it's needed because I think it's much bigger than just players and owners don't get along. There's a whole perspective between teams to me that need to be talked about because the way this is going, I don't think this is ever going to change unless they get this thing restructured. Who's going to win next year? Yankees, Mets, Cubs, Red Sox, Dodgers. Right. Throw a dart at these big league teams. Once in a while, the Twins and the Indians will make a run, and the Rays will go to the World Series. That'd be cool. But honestly, at the end of the day, these other teams, like,
well, and that's what I mean. That's how it always is. Like we're always just playing to just kind of compete at a certain level, and hope you get lucky. And that's just not. That's not the mentality that I want. It can't be.
Shared revenue has to start happening in this sport. Has to. And it's actually going to help the players. Because once you get shared revenue, it will cost for more competition. It'll cost for more intense free agency. Right now, do you know what happens? Said players leave. And where are they going to go? I mean, Mets, Yankees, Red Sox. It's the same teams.
Yeah.
No, it's not tricky. It isn't hard.
No, it's the same thing every year.
It's not. It gets quite frankly boring.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just funny. It's like, oh, Corey Kluber went to the Yankees. Well, of course. They can afford it. They can take that chance. The Indians can't take that chance. Hell no.
No. And
can't do that.
I mean, that's a whole other, there's a lot of layers there.
They need to figure this out. That's my point. Are you excited about Jimenez having a great spring? I am. Are you?
Sure.
Bobby Bradley, he's having a great spring too.
He is actually. I saw that. Yes,
he's playing very well. Are you excited about Daniel Johnson's product? I love Daniel Johnson. Are you excited about him?
Yeah, I'm excited for all of it. I want to win. I want to compete, but you know what, Andy? No, I'm not. I am not excited, really.
I am. I'm the only one.
I'm not at all. Actually, it's. There's just so much other shit surrounding them right now that it's really hard to concentrate on. Just pretending like none of that other stuff's going on. For me, it's really hard for me to just like pretend and be like, it just is. Look, it'll get solved. We'll get over it. It's fine. I'm still going to be an Indians fan, but right now it's really hard because it's not like we have this amazing, all-star team with all this money that we're getting ready to play. And it's like, we got our guys and our set core and we're, it's not, there's no hype even on the field right now for me. There's no flashy, splashy names.
Holly's in the majority and I'm in the minority. There is no buzz or hype from most fans about this team at all for many reasons we just went through. It's going to be interesting. I really mean that because they start playing in a couple weeks. And we have the reigning Cy Young Award winner and a guy who finished second in the MVP voting, and you wouldn't fucking know it.
That's a problem.
It's a huge problem. I love those guys, but my gosh, it's a problem right now.
Yep.
Joe Tate, sad to hear. We've had a lot of these losses lately. There's another one, Joe Tate passing away, legendary. Everybody knows Joe Tate. So Joe Tate's a legendary guy, was a very big staple in this town and community. I agree with what someone said, and many people said, so it just wasn't one. Joe Tate really represented the team at times when they weren't good, and he was really something that really brightened up people's day. He's a legendary voice, with McLeod, who we lost, and Les Levine, who we lost in this space of sports broadcasters. It's hard, and Joe was very much loved. I loved him. Everybody loved him. He definitely was a Cleveland embracer, and it sucks. It's another guy lost. It's been a tough year for Cleveland in the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, been a tough run on that stuff. In Cleveland and Michael Stanley recently we lost too. It's tough. Yeah,
tough run.
All of these staples that that loved Cleveland so much and made such an impact in so many people's lives here, and it's and Young. I mean, boy, Joe Tate, he was really suffering. It sounds like in the end of just of everything. He was
in a hospice,
Yeah. So it's sad. It is, and he was everything at the Cavs. I think that was a great way. But he was the Cavs when the Cavs weren't anything. I think that's a huge piece for sure.
Like to put in perspective too for me. So I like Joe, love Joe. And I actually know the man. Like Tommy Hamilton's that next guy. Like Jim Donovan. These are guys now who are in that space. Joe Tate is in that space too. And it's like, it's just tough. It just feels weird. It just
Yeah.
feels weird.
It feels end of eras, right? It's just
Yeah,
kind of
it's hard.
and so and he he was just so well respected from so many people. So
Yep. R.I.P. Joe. And R.I.P. to Michael Stanley too. R.I.P. to him. Are you excited about hockey being on Disney? I am. Skates up.
Do you know what the NHL is getting from that? I was doing a little bit of research on that. They are getting $400 million a year from Disney. From NBC, they were getting like $200 million.
Yeah. Do you know why? Because Disney's basically saying, we're going to run everything from top to bottom.
Yep.
We're going to take your product and we're going to squeeze it out. I am an ESPN former employee. The NHL made a great move. That was the proper move.
Well, yeah. Think about it too, Andy. They were on NBC Sports Network, which had terrible distribution. And random sports tiers. CNBC
sometimes had games. USA Network. This is miserable.
It was a mess. It was a mess. They weren't getting out of the eyeballs. And I think, look, my view on all of this is, so I worked for Fox and I worked on negotiating our television carriage contracts. And, I think what we all knew we had was leverage. I mean, Fox had, you name it, we had it to get, agreements done. But what they've been doing, I've been waiting for this ESPN Plus thing to kind of start ramping up. Like, it's been a couple years. I feel like when Fox sold off the RSNs, or when Disney took over 21st Century Fox, I thought if they're able to keep those, even though they weren't able to keep those RSNs, I thought, there you go. Now is going to be the all-inclusive sports app that, ESPN had talked about for a long time. Was it Skipper that talked about that?
That was a big thing.
And he had that idea, which I still think is going to come to fruition. But so I thought, that's where the RSNs are going. That's where all the products going. That's going to build it. Well, then they had to sell those off. Now they're with Sinclair. Well, Sinclair's struggling. They're not making any money. It was probably the worst time to do the deal in the sense of timing wise. But at the same time, they're actually right now, when I say they're struggling too, they're not, a lot of the RSNs are not on in market right now, like with a lot of different streaming services. Like FSO has not been on YouTube TV, or STO isn't still, but FSO hasn't been on all calf season here in Cleveland.
It's a mess. I mean, it actually started with that Fox selling off parts. Is they sold off some of their films, they sold off some of the other things. There's a lot right now that has to be figured out when it comes to television and stuff. When it comes to sports, because to Holly's point, I was talking about this, Holly, today. Like, I have DirecTV. The reason why I have DirecTV and I pay so much for it is I know where it happens. Now, I pay a premium for it, but I pay for it. So I don't want to fucking worry about, like, what channel I hit for BTN and, oh my God, did YouTube not pick up Fox Sports? I just want to watch my games and I'll pay a premium for it and all that stuff. There's a lot of people who, Jared being one of them, a person we work with, and others who have these like Roku and these YouTube packages.
I do.
Yep, you do too.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not quite as clean as it thought it would be. And it's adding more prices to almost not what I pay, but I know it's going up in price. And it had to at some point because there's all these premiums that go around it. Because look at that deal that ESPN just paid for. They want their cash back. They're doing that to get paid. So that plays a part of it too. I guess my whole point is it's complicated, and you can, for non-sports fans, I think you're fine. If you're a sports fan, I think it's tough.
Well, yes, absolutely. The best thing Fox did was sell those off.
I agree.
Quite frankly, because what was happening at the landscape at the time was that when these streaming services started to come up, so with broadband, let's take it back, regular cable providers that were only that just offered just cable, are basically all died out because there was no any other offerings. They weren't for instance, they weren't offering broadband.
Right.
It costs next to nothing to offer broadband. So the markup for internet is insane. So what they were doing was they're like, well, I'm not making any money off of the cable. You guys cost me money. I'm making all my money off the broadband. So that's where that kind of trend started. Well, then these streaming services pop up. They're going to use the broadband. It's cheap. They're throwing money at these networks to get their product on. And now it's all kind of coming back full circle. And we are back in a cable bundle 2.0. My package, I just got an email, and AT&T TV now is going up like another 10 or 15 bucks a month. So this is just what's happening. And I think about with the ESPN Plus now is that they're having a good chunk of games exclusively on there now. So they are building this up. The best thing they ever could have done was join also with Hulu.
Yes. Oh God, that was a big move.
That instantly moves them up into certain tiering. So where most of the eyeballs are. So it was a smart move for the NHL, hands down.
Made too much sense. Too much sense. It made too much sense.
Yes, for sure.
They do. Damian Fuccello, Hulu has live sports. I agree. We'll get to some of these comments real quickly. We might got to save the crown for another day.
Yep.
Damian Freeman's having a pretty good spring, I'd say. So was Yu Chang, by the way. Yu Chang loves spring training. Rob Jennings, good to have you in the room, Rob. I remember Tate doing Indians games with Herb Score. Oh my gosh, Rob. Yes. My dad talks about that. My dad and I'm sure Holly's the same way. I love listening to Indians baseball on radio. Still do. One of my favorite things to do. I always remember Fred McLeod called the NBA Finals. Agree, Damian. Agree. That was a great moment. Great moment. Damian, love DirecTV. Yes, I agree. I love DirecTV. I would strap that fucking dish on my back and take it on the road. I love it. It's heavy. That bill's heavy, but I don't give a fuck. I just want my games. There's a great song calling I Want My MTV. I Want My DirecTV. Javius, good to see you, buddy. Have you looked into YouTube TV? I guess if that question's to me, I have. Here's my thing. I come from the cable industry. So does Ollie. I am a cable snob. Everybody's got their vices. It might be a car, might be going out to eat. It could be whatever, right? My snobbiness is TV and sports. I fucking want platinum. I don't care. It costs $100 more, $200. I don't care. I just want to be able to turn on things when I come home. I pay for all this shit. When I travel on the road this week, I don't worry about watching the Cavs. You know why? I got it on my phone because DirecTV directs everything to everything. That's what I want. If I'm paying bucks, I don't want to. It's my only old man crotchety moment. I want smart water and I want my DirecTV. And I know I could get it for cheaper. I know. And people who I work with tell me I'm crazy for paying premium prices. It's my one vice. I don't care.
Well, it's like playing like whack-a-mole, Andy, because these services, and look, DirecTV is not, by the way, they could get into a dispute and you could not have some of your channels that
if they lose the Sunday ticket, I'm fucking pissed.
Well, they're trending that way.
I know. Let's not talk about it.
But so my point is that YouTube TV, sure, great. Well, right now they don't have FSO and STO, from what I understand. But again, though, that changes. It doesn't matter. AT&T TV that I have didn't have the local CBS affiliate here. I think it was CBS or NBC was one of the two, probably both.
Oh my God, NBC. It was a big problem during the Giants-Browns game.
Yeah, it was NBC. That's right. See, I thought CBS was anyway. So that's what happens, but it's back on. So
yes,
cable 2.0, cable bundle 2.0.
Javius, Joe called the perfect game on Channel 43. That's right, he did. Good call. Damian, thankfully I don't need that Sunday ticket. Yeah, thankfully in Connecticut I do. So, and I don't want to fucking watch. I'm going to say this right now out loud. It's time to go bye-bye because someone has to drive a lot tomorrow. I do not want to watch my Browns on Amazon on my computer. I want to watch my Browns on DirecTV.
Andy, you're showing your age because that is not the direction.
I don't care. It's my only old man vice. I don't care.
This exclusive deal with the NHL, this is the first start, I think, of.
I agree.
And Plus app, man, that is coming in.
I got my Fire Stick ready in case it happens. I'm prepared. I got my Fire Stick hooked up. I'm going to have to buy fancy internet. That's fine. My Wi-Fi will be flying.
Your landline phone over there. On your lazy boy.
I'll be watching these games gazelling away.
Falling asleep on the lazy boy.
All right, last story. I love the Gazelle. I'm now using it, people, and I love it. Tony Little, I want my fucking money for promoting that shit on this show. And then the other thing, does anybody do this? Where I was doing work, I was watching the end of a basketball game and wasn't very good yesterday. The last game was not very good. So I started watching Schitt's Creek and then just taking a break from work. Started typing an email, fell asleep, woke up, didn't know the day of the week, and lost it. Like woke up. It was like a deep sleep. I was like, I did like one of those things. I was like, I'm like, did I? Oh my God, did I? Like I started like, I'm like, did I? Wait, oh wait. It's only midnight. Okay. Go to bed.
I tell you all the time you need more sleep.
I do.
You need to go to sleep tonight because you have a drive early.
I know. And I got to wash the laundry. I got to do laundry. Be drying it out in my car on 80. People see me crossing the border with, it's a mess. Grapes of wrath. Ohio State Purdue tomorrow. Damien can't fucking wait. 2:00. I'll be doing work and in a meeting and watching that game. UVA Syracuse today. Beautiful game. I love March. Beautiful game. Buzzer beater. How about Georgetown? Patrick Ewing beating Nova. Nova's overrated. They're not as good as they used to be. I like Jay Wright, though, a lot. I like Jay Wright a lot. Nova coach. I like him. But they're not as good. Are you excited about Cavs coming back tomorrow? Pelicans in New Orleans.
Yeah.
You and I will be watching it together. It'll be fun.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Kind of Mardi Gras that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Let's just do it because I want to talk about this. I thought the Meghan Markle moment in interview was one of the first times in this 2000 era that I can remember. There's like been a couple moments. That was the first time it felt like the 80s and 90s where the world stopped to watch Oprah talk to Meghan Markle and Prince Harry.
Yeah.
I thought it was a very, very, very big moment.
Yeah, my brother and I were texting about it. I mean, just the ratings were
insane.
Up against the All-Star, whatever weekend that was. But yeah, it was. Everybody stopped and
it was amazing. Am I wrong, Holly? It felt like the world stopped. It felt like everyone was watching that game.
Well, I think too, because it's such a mystery. You know, the Crown that came out finally gave a little bit of idea of what really goes on, maybe behind those palace doors. And, you know, this brought a whole new light of you know, how important image is. It's everything. It's what they sacrifice their lives for, their image. Yes.
And to Holly's point, I think it's a wonderful show. And it is a show. So, I mean, there's always going to be some fictional stuff going on to make it more, you know, excitable for scripted television. But here's my one or two thoughts on it. I actually thought Meghan came off really likable. I really, really enjoyed her talking, and I really found her rooting for her. Because I could tell I thought she was being honest. I thought she was being very raw and opening up in a situation that's very, very tough to open up where the whole world's watching. Whole world.
Well, yeah, she got a lot of shit, and I don't understand it. Why. She's stayed silent for so long, so she finally decides to speak up, and everyone's like, well, she didn't want the press, and now all of a sudden she's doing interviews. It's like, she did one interview with her husband to sit down and say, this is what's going on, and I felt like I almost had to take my own life. And for people to make light of that, I think is just, it's so ignorant. I mean,
very, very bad.
You can't do that. If someone says to you that that's how they feel,
that takes a lot of guts.
Because she's Meghan Markle, because she has money and everything, that she can't feel like she can't go pregnant. She's carrying a child and she's feeling that way and she's saying that. That's scary.
That interview was really brave and took a lot of guts. A lot of guts. Yeah,
some people
that was not an easy interview.
No, and people are getting called her a bimbo and a gold digger. I'm like, what are you? Oh no,
what are you? Why?
Called me a bimbo.
And by the way, she doesn't need it. Like that's This is not promoting a book or a movie or your career. She doesn't have to do this. She felt like she needed the therapy to talk it out. She was doing that to talk to the people inside the royal family. Be like, here's my version. I'm talking to you through Oprah because I don't know how to talk to you. That's what I got out of that session. I don't know. Am I wrong? That's what I got out of it.
That's a good way to look at it too. And I mean, if you've seen over the past couple of days, things have come out that have only been in support, like actual documentation of things of supporting her story and what's been going on.
I thought she was wonderful.
So, I did too. Why they decided not to embrace the whole situation with her is the diversity she brings on so many different levels.
She's a wonderful person. She's a wonderful person.
You know, there's so many things about her that she has that they could have really played up and not down. Yeah. And it's pretty sad. So,
and they look very happy. Prince Harry and her look very, very, very happy.
Very genuinely happy. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, very, very happy. Like I do this for a living. That was a raw, cool interview.
Mm-hmm.
And those of you, and here's why I say that. Those interviews usually feel staged. They usually feel uncomfortable. They usually feel sticky. Usually something that's like, what's the catch? I didn't feel like that at all. And I was surprised. I thought it would feel that way. I thought I was expecting that. Didn't come off like that.
Yeah.
Kudos to her. She did a great job.
It was good.
I it's my one thing. I love The Crown. I really do get in that stuff a little bit. Darius Garland. I was looking it up just now. Javius, Love still questionable, and Darius Garland still questionable. So the answer is questionable for tomorrow night. And they need Darius Garland. He's their only point guard they have on the roster right now. Yeah, as a poor Dellavedova, I don't think he's ever gonna. Poor Delly, I love him. I don't know if he's ever gonna play again. So, I hate saying that. All right, wow, 72 minutes, a lot of thoughts. Yeah, everybody have a great. Everybody have a great week. I will be talking lots of March Madness stuff, driving, all sorts of pools. If you need a good pool, hit me up. I might know someone who knows someone. You want to spend your money and not get it back? Oh, I got people. Don't you worry. I'll hook you up. I love Cleveland State in the tournament. They just signed Cook yesterday. I agree. Thank you, Damian, for the drive safely. That's really kind of you to say. I saw that, Javius. I don't know what to think of that signing, the backup. I saw that. Very neutral feeling like, okay. I know why they signed him. They need another point guard. Like, okay.
Well, you don't know what can happen. You need that reassurance.
The Cavs are the weirdest one. I like this Dean Wade guy. I really like Sexton, how he's developing. I like Darius Garland's having a better year. Jared Allen shows promise. Andre Drummond is nowhere closer to getting traded. Love is still hurt. I don't know what to think about Chetty Osman anymore. I mean, I love the guy. Nice guy. He stinks. Stinks. And Windler's playing better. I like the coach, but they're still so far under 500. Oh, by the way, I love this comment. Golden State's after hot. Hey, take them.
Ship
Bye.
Them. See you later, dude.
Take care. He has been the most frustrating 5-year player.
We're just rebuilding. That's just what we're doing.
Guy can't fuck.
What a world. What a world that the Browns are good and the Cavs and the Indians are not. It's what is life?
This Indians transition is exhausting. It's exhausting. It is exhausting. I can't get over how exhausting it is.
Yep, lots to come. Lots to come.
All right. Couple more things and we're done. This is fast. Set the Edge and Jared Watson, Cleveland and beyond. We're going to try to do something for the draft, but I just explained that during the podcast. So if we get some draft clarity, we will try to do something for the draft. So stay tuned to that. We're going to try to do some live appearances once COVID clears. Stay tuned to that. In the meantime, we'll be back here on Thursday. We'll do more of this stuff. That'll be the day before the tournament starts. The tournament does not start this year until Friday. Playing games are on Thursday. The tournament starts on Friday this year. It's not the normal Thursday start. There you go. and I was going to end on this to throw to Holly. Do you get into championship week? Do you get into March Madness like I do? Or is it more like, it's nice, it's good, but it's not my thing?
I like the tournament and it's fun to watch, and I fill out a bracket, and I get into it. That's from there. I have a friend from high school that passed away that was probably one of the biggest Gonzaga fans on this planet.
Ooh.
Back when I was in high school, which is a long time ago. So I tend to pick Gonzaga probably almost every year. If they're viable in memory of him, I think about it a lot. So
wow. Well, there's a special time. Sorry to hear that. Really sorry to hear that. Gonzaga has a chance for the first time since UCLA back in the 60s to go undefeated. They really, really do. They're that. Oh, I'm sorry. What am I saying? UCLA. God, wash my mouth out. Indiana. My gosh, my basketball knowledge is terrible. Indiana did it in 76. So that's the last time someone went undefeated with that Bob Knight guy, who, by the way, is from Ohio and played at Ohio State. But we'll talk about that in another Set the Edge show. Everyone's tired. Time to do some laundry. Thank you for the kind words, Damien. JV, it's good to see you. Rob Jennings, Kevin Atkins, everybody out there. Good night. Free agency starts on Monday. March Madness on Friday. Good night. Take care. Bye.